At 9:11, 10 a.m. last Tuesday, and I'm sitting in a villa in Bali with a group of coaches who have flown in from across the globe, and they didn't come for any teaching, fancy funnel, or overhyped strategy. They came for one thing: certainty. Certainty that they can wake up each and every day knowing exactly what to do and what not to do. Certainty that me and my team are behind the scenes ensuring an endless stream of high quality leads are turning into high value clients. Certainty that their business isn't just surviving but thriving on autopilot. And today I'm going to show exactly how we've done this for one coach who is now on track to profit $3.6 million this year. And I'm going to break down the 5 critical steps to this process: the numbers, the strategy, and the system, so you are able to create this repeatable process for yourself. See, most coaches are flying completely blind when it comes to hitting profit goals. They're guessing at the strategies, they're trying to chase trends, or they're just hoping that something sticks, but not you. With the Profit Calculator, my team and I take all the guesswork out of the equation and turn your profit goal into a clear, actionable daily plan. And here is how it works, because we start with your profit target. And so for this coach, it's a $3.6 million or $300,000 a month. Now, from there, we structure every key number in your sales pipeline: how many clients you need, what your close rates need to be, average deal value, and even the volume of leads required at the top of your funnel. But we don't stop there. Once we have your pipeline mapped out, we reverse engineer precisely what your marketing and sales strategy needs to be so you can actually hit those numbers. So from the content you'll need to create to the ad, the spend required to hit those number of calls that your sales teams need to handle daily, and it's all broken down into bite-sized actionable steps. And the result is, by having this, you have a daily action plan that you can easily follow. There's no overthinking, there's no what should I focus on today. There is just a clear, proven blueprint that you and your team can easily execute on. This is the system we've used to help coaches scale to $500,000 a month and higher, and it's the exact same process that we're using to build this pathway to $3.6 million in annual profit. Now, because when you have the right numbers and the right strategy and a plan that you can execute daily, success isn't just possible, it's inevitable at the end of the day. So let me walk you through this process and how you can use it. Because step 1 is we need to be able to have North Star metrics. If you want to hit 3.6 million in annual profit, you need to lock in on those metrics that actually matter so it becomes inevitable. And these are the critical numbers that cut through that noise and really just keep it simple for you to stay focused on what actually drives success. So the breakdown for this is we want to be able to hit a target monthly profit of $300,000. Now, this is the big goal, the money that you're taking home after all of the expenses. This is what you're putting into your back pocket, 300 grand a month. Now, with this business, we know that we can run this at a 60% profit margin. And it's really important here because a healthy margin ensures that you're running a lean and efficient business. You don't, highly recommend, don't be a fool and get caught up with all those wannabes that want to talk revenue. This is why I'm focusing this episode to talk about what the profit is. But from that profit, we know, running at a 60% profit margin, that our monthly revenue goal needs to be $500,000. This is the actual engine that powers that machine. Your revenue is going to drive your profit, and hitting this number means that everything else can start to fall in place. Now, really importantly, knowing that we need to hit 500 grand a month, we know that we need to get to 100 clients. Okay, so total number of clients needed is 100. At 100 every single month, not 100 once and then all falling off. Because at this scale, the math gets simple. This coach is charging $5,000 a month. So $5,000 a month at 100 clients is $500,000 revenue. Thankfully, it's pretty basic math. But these numbers don't just give you clarity, they give you direction. Because once you know the targets, everything else becomes the building of the actual systems and just the following of what needs to happen in those strategies to actually hit them. Because instead of actually scrambling to do more, you can actually focus on the exact actions that move that needle, generating the correct number of leads, dialing in your actual conversion, and delivering a world-class experience that keeps your clients around. Now, step 2 of this, once we have North Star metrics, is breaking down the actual numbers. This is where we get into actionable pipeline of step by step what needs to happen. So this is where the magic happens. This is how I want you to think about this for yourself. In this example, taking $500,000 in monthly revenue, we need to reverse engineer back what has to happen in each stage. So leads required. Now, for us to get to the 100 clients, we need to know what our funnel actually requires. So let's just assume that you or your sales team have a solid closing rate of 60% on closing calls. That means we need to be able to have a target of us knowing we want to be able to get 28 calls booked per month. Okay, 28 calls booked per month. Now, working backward, if you have a show up rate of 60% to the first call, we know that we need 97 calls booked per month entering into your pipeline, which takes us to step 2, conversion rates at each of these stages. So to hit these numbers in the pipeline, we have to have these all work together. Calls booked. We know that we only need 97 calls booked per month, and we're currently only paying $155 per booked call with our ad campaigns. Now, our call booking rate from those leads is we have a 60% show up to the first call, and we actually have a 60% conversion rate from first call to second call. Now, we expect these numbers to actually improve, but I'm just giving you the numbers as to what the pipeline is doing right now in this example. Now, we have the close rate, which is actually, again, thankfully, this has come out really easy for math, keeps my meat-headed brain easy, but we have a 60% conversion rate on closing calls. So to secure those 17 new clients each month, which is a target that we want to be able to get to the 100 clients, this is the layering approach that we need to be able to do it. Now, really importantly, I want you to understand this. As I'm going through these numbers, I want you to be able to think about it, how this applies to yourself. I'm giving you a real world case study and breaking these numbers down. All you need to do is have the numbers how you want them lined up. What is your goal profit? What is your goal revenue? And then breaking it down for what needs to happen. Now, it comes into the really important number that we need to be able to know, which is your average client value. So your pricing is the lever that makes all of this work, because with a $500,000 revenue goal and 100 clients being the goal, the math is pretty straightforward, that we know that we're charging $5,000 a month. But to be honest, this coach has a higher than normal client value. So I know some of you might be thinking, I'm not charging $5,000 a month, Chris. That's perfectly fine. Most coaches we actually work with have a monthly client value of around $1,000 to $2,000 a month. So if you are charging less, no problem. This just means that increasing your client count or bundling upsells or raising into value. Conversely, if you're charging more, you actually need fewer clients to hit the same target. You just need to do that math really simply for yourself. But don't forget, client churn is the silent assassin in your business numbers. And this is where we really bake it into this equation as well. We put client churn into this equation because I've said it 1,000 times and I'll probably say it 1,000 more. The easiest way to double your business is to halve your churn. With this coach, we're working with a monthly churn of 5%. That means that every month we're losing 5% of the clients, which we factor into both the total client value and the number of new clients we need to sign on to keep that momentum going to get him to his ultimate $3.6 million a year of profit. Now, it's like filling a leaky bucket. If you need to keep adding water in faster than it's dropping out, your system's broken, your business is broken, and you need to be able to come into that. So that's where we will have another episode coming up, just focusing on that client churn, fixing that process of easily being able to double your business is by actually halving the amount of clients that you're losing.
If you've made it this far, seriously, thank you. I appreciate you being here. But real quick, if you are a coach or consultant who wants to be able to build a self-growing business without bloated team, a big ad budget, or working more than 3 hours a day, then make sure that you hit subscribe. Because everything I share here is built for founders just like you. Because it's likely that you are done chasing bigger and ready to build better. So let's get back to it.
Importantly though, understanding the numbers is how you actually design a sales pipeline tailored to your business goals. And the best part of this is once you actually know the metrics, you can focus on what matters most, consistently filling in your funnel, optimizing your conversion rates, and then being able to scale with confidence. This is the foundation of predictable growth, because when you nail these numbers, you have a blueprint that makes $500,000 a month of repeatable revenue. But the important part is we've gone through step 1, step 2, now there's step 3, which is, I am going to use that dirty S word right now, scaling. Okay, this is scaling to success. Now, scaling isn't about working harder. It's about actually setting up the right systems so your business can grow predictably. I took this from a good friend and mentor of mine, Sharan, which is he's really defined scaling as predictable growth. Now, there are three systems that we use to be able to have predictable growth. And what I want you to be able to have inside of your business is number one, lead generation. A steady flow of leads is absolutely non-negotiable. Now, we focus primarily on paid ads, but we also ensure that there's proven systems for referrals to leverage happy clients that you have, and organic content to build authority and trust, and how they all work together. Because together, these channels keep your pipeline full and predictable. But primarily, we're focusing on the actual paid acquisition side of things. After the lead generation, there's sales efficiency. This is where your team needs to convert leads into paying clients reliably. That means there's clear scripts, there's systems like your CRMs to track everything, there's the reporting processes that any one of your team members can easily follow. This is when you can sleep like a brick, because ultimately all I'm doing with my partners is I'm getting them to sleep like a brick, because when they have a predictable, reliable machine to bring in leads and turn them into clients, you sleep really well. Now, after sales efficiency, the third one is delivery excellence. This is growth where it comes from not just getting new clients, but it's about keeping the ones that you have, nailing your onboarding, delivering consistent results, offering upsells to maximize the value while turning your clients into referral machines is all about delivery excellence. And when these systems are dialed in, your business practically runs itself, because leads flow in, sales converts, clients stick around, and all without you having to hustle harder. So that's why I start to call this predictable growth, scaling to success, because that is the way that you are able to actually build a business that gives you the life that you want. Now, after scaling success, this is the kind of the fourth step, which is where most coaches start to miss the mark. And this is where we need to talk about why so many coaches are falling short in building a wildly profitable business. And it's not from a lack of talent. It's not from a lack of hard work. And it's, in fact, many are actually just grinding themselves into the ground. The problem is they're focusing on the wrong things. They're working hard, doing the wrong things. And the three most common mistakes when it comes to this is number one, they're chasing vanity metrics instead of profitability. Again, why I made this real life case study example of this episode, talking about the 3.6 mil profit, not revenue. Because too many coaches are caught up in metrics that they look good on paper. They look good when they can screenshot and put on social media, but it's actually not the thing that's going to give them the freedom that they want. They celebrate the Instagram followers. They celebrate their webinar signups, even their total revenue, but they're ignoring the most important number, which is that profit. The brutal truth is a 7-figure revenue business that's barely breaking even isn't as a success. It's a treadmill. Real freedom comes from profit, and that's why focusing on a lean, high-margin business model can be an absolute game changer, which is why I share with you in this episode the actions of why I'm thinking, my philosophy as to why I am able to grow business faster is because if it doesn't increase your bottom line, then it's just noise. Because after this, the second mistake is many coaches just overcomplicating instead of simplifying. Now, I asked all the coaches sitting down with me in this Bali retreat, what's the number one reason that we use this profit calculator? They all gave their answers, but the true answer, why I want to share with you this profit calculator, is because of diagnosis. It's easy to believe that scaling requires complex funnels, dozens of offers, and just juggling multiple different strategies. But all that complexity, it kills momentum. This is where we need to be able to have a predictable and reliable growth machine. And that only comes from being able to diagnose what is the key constraint in the business right now. What is the key constraint that is stopping, slowing, or even killing the growth that it is that you're looking for right now. And that is why we use our growth flywheel, because most coaches are just working hard, doing everything right, doing what their business coaches are telling them, doing what the latest gurus are sharing on social media, but they're not focusing on what that bottom line actions are so that you can see growth from month to month. Because when you focus on solving the key constraint in your business, you cut through the overwhelm and you actually start to build that momentum that turns into something scalable. So the goal, the way I want you to think about this is the goal isn't to do more, it's to do less better, because you can't afford to make these simple mistakes, because if you are, well, you fall into the same problem that I have fallen into so many times before, which is the only reason why I'm sharing this with you. I am literally saying the problems and mistakes that I've made so you don't have to go through them. And that way you're able to stop sabotaging your potential, and you can be, like this example, on the path to a 3.6 million profit business without doing more, and by doing a few things right, consistently and efficiently. Because when you start to strip away the distractions and focus on what drives profit, everything starts to change. And yes, I am very biased. That's where me and my team do come in. That is why I founded the Rainmakers. That's why, after selling my last company, after doing consulting, after being able to work with and help 6, 7, and 8-figure coaches grow their businesses, then paying me up to $25,000 a month in retainers, I could see that there was just simple things that needed to be done, and why I wanted to be able to do this. Because when I am able to sit down like I did with these coaches in this Bali retreat, it was simple. It takes sometimes 5, 10, 15 minutes to diagnose that key constraint that is able to seriously unlock epiphanies for them to go, oh my God, this is so much easier, so that you can wake up, sip your coffee, and start your day knowing that your business is running smoothly and you're not needing to jump into Slack and start putting out fires. So what I've done is, if you want to see how the system actually works, I'll pop a link underneath this. It's completely free, and it's just showing you step by step the 11 key strategies that we use with every single coach to be able to grow their business. What I really want you to walk away from this episode is knowing the few key numbers, what your actual pipeline numbers should look like, so that your success, so that your profit, so that the business that you really want to build is inevitable, and you can start working toward that on a day-by-day basis without the overwhelm, without the frustration. By using this profit calculator, the reason why I created this, the reason why I do this with every single partner that we first sit down with, is making it really simple for us to see what is it that we need to be able to do. Can we diagnose what is actually slowing your business? And then simply being able to install and be able to have the right playbook, the right strategy in place to be able to make that happen. It's as simple as that. So rather than just clicking off, watching another video, or if you're listening to this on the podcast, going to the next episode, I highly recommend spend 2-3 minutes just figuring out what those key numbers need to look like inside of your profit calculator, so then you can build a business that you truly love.
All right, that's it for today. And if this did hit home for you today, and if you are building a business that's meant to give you more money and more freedom, then I want you to be able to do 2 things before you go. 1, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because you're a bummer if you missed out on everything else to come. Number 2, grab the link in the description and be able to book in your free demo, so you can see the exact systems, the exact process, and you can be able to install it inside of your business. Because remember, this channel is for coaches and creators who want a daily income, simple systems, and to be able to take time off. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.